Today, we're going to break down a song that's, well, it's much more than just music. Think of it as a political Molotov cocktail thrown right from the heart of 1970s Germany.
Keine Macht für niemand. In English, that translates to no power for nobody. And let me tell you, this is not just some catchy title. It's a radical, totally uncompromising political statement that has been echoing for decades.
Really, the best way to think about this song is to see it as a kind of programmatic manifesto. It's this raw piece of power critique, born directly out of the counterculture and the left alternative movements of the early 1970s. At its core, the song is just this pure expression of anti-authoritarianism. And what's so fascinating here is its central idea: a total, complete rejection of the legitimacy of any power structure. It doesn't matter if you're talking about the state, a political party, or even a so-called revolutionary avant-garde. All authority gets questioned.
So the song sets up this direct confrontation. It's not one person speaking, it's a collective we. And it's speaking to two different groups at the exact same time. The rulers, them, and the listeners, which is us. The whole point is to call on everyone to empower themselves.
So how does this manifesto actually deliver its message? Well, it all boils down to one central, unwavering theme: absolute refusal. A refusal to accept authority and all of its grand promises.
Okay, this is where you can really see the song's logic in action. It just systematically unmasks all those big political promises we're so used to hearing. The promise of order and security? The song calls it a deception. Progress and salvation? Just hidden claims to power. And liberation? The song argues that just creates new ways for us to be dependent.
Right, so if it rejects all of that, what's the alternative? Well, the song puts forward a pretty clear ideal: radical self-determination. It's imagining a world where people manage their own affairs, they take responsibility for themselves, and they absolutely refuse to be represented by anyone else. The message is incredibly powerful for sure, but the real genius here lies in how it's delivered. The song's form, its language, all of its artistic choices, they feel like they've been engineered to hit with maximum force. Let's just break down its structure for a second. The verses are super short, almost like slogans. The rhythm is hard and really clear. And the language, it's deliberately simple, the kind of stuff you'd hear on the street. And that's not a flaw, that's a feature. It's designed to make the message feel immediate, accessible to literally everyone. And this right here is the crucial point. This song is not trying to be some beautiful poem that you admire from a distance. Nope, it is designed for immediate impact. It wants to grab you, to feel authentic, urgent, and, well, frankly, to be impossible to ignore. And the way it uses language is just incredibly direct. The tone is dead serious, there's no irony, no complex poetry. It just hammers home a few keywords: power, nobody, we, and you. What this does is create this crystal clear us versus them battlefield, where power itself almost becomes this physical object that you can either grab or refuse. Now, because the message is so uncompromising, it actually opens the door to at least two very distinct, very powerful interpretations. So let's break those down. So on the one hand, you could read this as a pure, radical anarchist critique. From this angle, the song isn't just against the abuse of power, it's against the very idea of power itself. It rejects any form of institutionalized rule, period. But there's another way to read it, as a warning against apathy. In this view, the blame isn't just on the rulers, but on anyone who willingly gives up their own responsibility. Self-empowerment here isn't chaos, it's active, vigilant participation. So what do you think? Is it a call for total anarchy, for just tearing everything down? Or is it a really demanding call for every single one of us to take ownership and be eternally vigilant? The song pretty much forces you to ask that question. And this brings us to our final and maybe the most fascinating point of all: why a song from the 1970s still feels so incredibly relevant today. You see, the song was born from a very specific moment, those post-1968 movements, the squatters' rights scene, all fueled by this deep distrust of the state. But just look at where that message echoes today. It plugs directly into our modern conversations about political alienation, about corporate power and lobbying, state surveillance, and all the debates over policing. Its core complaint is just timeless. Ultimately, the reason this song has so much staying power comes down to its friction.
It's not trying to be nuanced. It polarizes, it simplifies, and it provokes. And that's exactly what makes it such a timeless tool for starting a discussion.
In the end, after all the analysis, the song really just boils down to one single unwavering idea: to place all your trust in collective self-responsibility over any form of centralized power. And that leaves us with this really powerful final thought. The song doesn't give you a blueprint. It doesn't have a 5-step plan. It doesn't offer any easy solutions. What it offers is a stance, a position to take. And it kind of leaves us to wonder, in a world that's so desperate for answers, what is the real value of simply choosing a stance?